Hey racers, and welcome to another live stream. And today's live stream is 3 ways you can maximize bike time before Fink. So we're about 3 weeks, 3 and a bit weeks until the actual event, and probably 2 and a bit weeks until most of you are leaving. I think for a lot of you, you're probably not rocking up the day before to go racing. And I know a lot of the riders that I work with are turning up. Hey Andrew, turning up roughly a week before. So thought it would be a good time to talk to you guys about maximizing your bike time for the next few weeks. Either for those of you that have been prepared and want to get the most out of the coming weeks, for those of you have unprepared and want to get the most out of the coming weeks. I'm going to go through a few things that hopefully help you to get more out of your bike time. Before I get into all that stuff, I wanted to let you guys know I'm running a online clinic next week specifically for Finke Racers, okay, 30 Finke Racers. And so normally what I do every year for Finke, for my riders, is I either catch up individually with my riders or I have a group call. And so what we do in the group call is I go through and I've got this document that I've put together, which I've changed and updated every year for Finke, which pretty much runs all our riders through step-by-step nutrition, what to eat for breakfast, what to have before every ride, how to fuel themselves at fuel stops, how to tackle how much liquid to take in their camelback, what type of liquid to take in your camelback, how to maximize recovery after day one, what to do for Prologue, how to stretch to undo all the damage from traveling time so you're not tight and stiff and you actually feel fresh when you go out and ride, recovery techniques, if there is soreness from day one, which from a lot of you there probably is going to be, what you can do on day one to set yourself up for day two. So like if any of this stuff sounds relevant or sounds like something that could be helpful for you, I'll post up now in the comments section. I've got a pre-sale link. So the actual event will be held online next week, but tickets will be going on sale this week. So if you'd like to jump on the pre-sale list and get access before everyone else, feel free to click on the link that will come up in the comments section and just put your email address in, and then you can jump on the pre-sale list. So to get into today's call, so 3 ways to maximize your bike time over the coming weeks, over the next 3 weeks. So the first thing that I've got written down is structured riding. Okay, so the amount of times I see riders that just get on the bike and have no intention with what they're doing with their bike time is ridiculous. And truthfully, that was me when I was racing as well. I'd get out to the track. Any time on the bike was considered good bike time, and that was about it. Okay, there was no structure, no plan, no nothing. It was just rock up, ride, and then go home. And that's what a lot of people do with their gym work as well. They rock up to the gym, they do something for an hour, and then they come back home. So what structured riding is actually just having a plan for what you want to do when you go and ride. So for Finke, okay, we're looking at a gap of anywhere between 2 to 4.5 hours. I can't remember what the cutoff time. I'm sure someone can tell me in the comments. Between 2 to 4.5 hours, depending on your ability. That's a fair bit of time on the bike, and a fair bit of time at a very high speed as well. So unless you live in Alice Springs or out at Finke and ride the trail every week, you're probably not going to have done too much riding at that level of pace and intensity for that period of time. Okay, it's going to be quite new for you. So when I mean structured riding, it's like, okay, what are things you can do with your riding in these coming weeks that are going to actually move you closer towards getting ready for Finke? And so one of those things that's going to be important is bike time in terms of how many hours you spend on the bike. Okay, so the accumulation of hours. Now, it doesn't matter about all the fitness work, all the cardio work, all the strength work, all the gym work, all the normal stuff that I normally talk about. That stuff's not going to be very helpful for you if you're not accumulating bike time. So I've shared this story before, but I'll share it again because it's relevant here. Back in 2019, I did a marathon row, okay, on a rowing machine, 42 kilometers. It took me 3 hours and 18 minutes. A year later, I did the same, did no rowing training for it, okay, just did all my normal training, but no rowing specific training, just jumped on the rower and did it, and that was 3 hours and 18 minutes. A year later, I went and did my marathon row again, and I did it in 2 hours and 58 minutes, so 20 minutes quicker. I changed one thing. And that one thing that I changed was I did one long distance row every week. Okay, one long row that was an hour and a half to 2.5 hours long. And so the reason that was so effective with cutting down my rowing time is when I did the first row, the first time, the problem wasn't my lung capacity. The problem wasn't my squat. The problem wasn't my deadlift. The problem wasn't my running speed. Okay, none of those things were a problem. The thing that was the problem is there were certain areas of my body that were getting overworked. Okay, that you can't overwork on any other apparatus, any other piece of equipment, any other type of training apart from just doing a shit ton of rowing. I was getting sore behind my heels, my hands were getting sore and I couldn't hang on. My hips were getting really, really sore. Okay, my quads, my muscles leading up into my hips were getting really tight. And they were the things that were holding me back on the row. I spent probably the second half of the row the first time just trying not to be in pain because of these specific areas of my body were being overused. Now, the same thing happens for Finke, for any long distance ride. There's things you can do off the bike to improve your riding, but at the end of the day, you need to be accumulating hours doing the thing that you're going to be doing for a long period of time, which is actually riding the bike. Because there's going to be parts of your body that get sore that need to be accustomed to that level of volume that you can't replicate any other way. Okay, it could be your hands holding onto the handlebars. It could be your steg pegs smashing into the back of your calves. It could be your lower back getting sore. Okay, it could be your, I don't know, standing on the foot pegs for so long. Whatever it is for you. Everyone has these specific little things that they need to train and need to get their body accustomed with. And so the way that you do that is by doing those things for a long duration. You don't necessarily have to be doing every day, but there needs to be some level of adaptation there where your body's getting comfortable being on the bike for a long period of time. So that means for your rides for the next 3 weeks, if you're going out and doing 20-minute rides or ducking down to the motocross track or, doing 20 minutes and then stopping and chatting for half an hour and then doing another hour and then stopping and chatting for half an hour and then going again, that's not going to set you up very well for Finke. Okay, especially for those muscles and areas of your body that are going to be overused. You're going to find it hard, you're going to find it challenging to be able to ride how you want to ride when you get there. Keeping in mind, you've got to back it up the next day as well. So that's the first thing I'd recommend is structured riding. When you go in for your rides every week from now on, have a purpose of what you're going to get out of it. It's like an example of that would be, okay, I'm going riding this weekend and I'm going to ride for 4 hours and I'm only going to stop once, for example. It could be, hey, I'm going to do I'm going to do 4 1-hour rides and I'm going to stop for 10 minutes between each hour. And that's my goal for this weekend. Or if you're not at that level yet, it could be, hey, I'm going to go out and do a 2-hour ride. Okay, and that's what I'm going to push myself to do. So it's having an intention and a goal for the ride before you even go and ride, not just rocking up on the bike and then seeing where it takes you. So that's the first thing, structure your riding. Second thing, consistent riding. So what I mean by consistent riding, again, so it ties into point 1, not stop starting. Okay, you're not going to the motocross track and doing 10 minutes and then having a break and then doing 10 minutes and having your break and trying to make it your time that way, because that's not what's going to happen when you're on the bike. There's no breaks. Okay, you've got a fuel stop, which will take you not very long at all, a couple of minutes, and then you're back on it, flat out. The other thing with consistent riding is you need to be consistently getting on the bike. You can't get on the bike now and then not ride for a month and then get to Finke and expect that you're going to be able to ride for 4, 5, 6 hours over 2 days at race pace, flat out, through the middle of the desert in riding conditions you're probably not comfortable with, and expect to do well and to be able to pull up well. So again, structure your riding for the coming weeks. I guess consistency with riding ties into structure. For the coming weeks, map out the exact days you're going to go riding, put things in place. If you've got kids, get your partner to look after them. Take them to childcare, take them to your grandparents' house, take them to your parents' house. Do whatever you need to do, okay? Leave them with the neighbor, whatever you need to do to get things organized to make sure that you've got that riding time. And a lot of the time it's just communication. If it's work, if you need to take time off work or make sure you don't book any work, make sure you're using holidays, whatever it is, okay? Make sure you have some sort of plan going into these coming weeks so you know what you're going to do when you go and ride, and then also you know when those rides are going to happen, okay? Saturday, 8 a.m., this is when I'm going to ride. That's what's the structure and the plan is what's going to allow you to be able to be consistent. Third thing is replicate race day conditions. So this is easier said than done. I understand that because there's not many conditions around Australia that are similar unless you live like around Hattah area or near Finke or Alice Springs. There's not many areas that are going to replicate the type of riding you're going to do at the speed you're going to do for the length of time you're going to do it. So you want to replicate your race day conditions as close to racing conditions as you can from what you know. If you've never been out there, by the pictures and what everyone else has told you. I'm sure you've done more than enough research. If you've been out there before, you know roughly what to expect. So what I mean by replicate race day conditions is, if you know that for Finke, you're going to be riding at high speed, it's going to be sandy and dusty, and there's going to be lots of whoops, then going and practicing extreme enduro and trying to get over logs on every weekend for 3 or 4 hours is probably not going to be the most effective training for you. The most effective training is probably going to be riding in dusty or sandy conditions at high speeds over whoops. If you can't get all 3 of those, go and pick the ones that are most important, that you got access to, or the ones that you feel you need to work on the most. Go to a sand track. Maybe you go to a sandy motocross track, or maybe you go and ride in the pines and there's a really sandy loop you can get to. Maybe there's a few different riding spots that you know you can get to, and it's just up to you to choose the right one. Okay, instead of going to the one that's maybe most fun, go to the one, or the one where all your mates are going, go to the one that's actually going to help you to improve your riding. So they're the 3 things. Number 1 is structured riding. Okay, make sure you've got an actual plan for what you're doing when you get on the bike. Number 2, make sure it's consistent. Do things now to make sure that you have the free time in a few weeks' time to be able to get the bike time that you need. Okay, it's no point waking up on Saturday morning and go, oh shit, I've got a christening to go to, I've got a birthday, oh it's me Mother's Day, or whatever it is, and then not being able to ride. Okay, you have to plan those things in advance. And then 3, replicate race day conditions. So make sure you're riding in conditions that are actually going to help you with Finke. Don't just go, any bike time is good bike time. Pick conditions and riding environments that are actually going to help you. Sandy whoops, high speed stuff, those things are the things that are going to move you in the right direction and prepare you for the event. Any questions, guys? Anything I can help you with there? If you found it helpful or you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Helps other Finke riders to be able to see the video as well. Any questions at all, guys? What can I help you guys with? And while I'm waiting for questions to come through, for those of you that jumped on a little bit late, I'll be running an online event next week for Finke Racers. I'm going to be going through step by step all the nutrition so you can maximize your energy, maximize your recovery techniques you can use at the end of race day, what to fuel yourself with at fuel stops, what to put in your Camelback to make sure that you are maximizing your performance and your hydration. Don't get hydrated for end of day 1 or day 2. Stretches to undo all the travel tightness and soreness and all the rest of it. So if that's something you're interested in, jump on the pre-sale list, which is, I've got the link in the comments there. And when we release tickets this week, you'll be first to know. But is there any questions, guys? Anything I can help you guys with at all? Anything at all? Doesn't look like there's too many of you on here because it is a little bit early. Earlier than when I do the later afternoon calls. Maybe that's it. All right. Cool. Awesome. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Looking forward to putting some more Finke videos together for you guys. As I said, if you need help with getting ready for Finke, I'm not going to be able to help you with the training. It's too late for that stuff. But I can help you with the nutrition and improve your performance that way while you're actually out there. So if you're interested in that, jump on the pre-sale list. Otherwise, I will chat to you guys soon. See ya.